All right. We are recording. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Coach's Corner. So I'm uploading now on the Every Calorie Counts podcast. So welcome to the Coach's Corner segment of the Every Calorie Counts podcast. We do not have Matt today. He is ill. So it's just us three, but I have his questions because I got zero.
He posted, Bernard said, ha, I almost choked on my own spit. Bernard said, ha, sus. Whatever, Bernard. As if Bernard's not a little sus. We're all a little sus deep down. But what was I gonna say? Oh, Matt and his fucking picture that he posted this morning. He looked fucking was that yesterday or today?
That was this morning.
What
that
picture?
was retarded, dude. He looked nuts.
Was
that when
what picture? Did I miss something?
The picture you commented on it.
Yeah.
Remember and he was like,
wait, but
I said,
that's
the video of him.
Oh,
Yeah.
but I thought that was it's not now, right?
Which one?
no, that was from before his show.
Okay, yeah, before
The picture of the hotel lighting.
Oh yeah.
hotel.
That was 2 days out.
That's one of those ones where like you see that and you're like, all right, like we're like
When he sent me those pictures, I was on the plane, Tennessee, and I texted him back. I'm like, dude, you'll have a pro card.
yeah. Was that it? Was that the second? Was that the moment?
That was it. Those pictures.
Yeah,
He
that's
looks
what I was gonna say.
ridiculous.
That's so
unbelievable.
cool though.
Yeah, when you see that, like I could legitimately like visualize being there, having that be
Dude,
my client,
it
and
was
being like,
insane.
"That's it, dude.
When he
Like
sent,
that's it. That's we're done. We're good.
When he sent,
Don't touch
when I saw
anything."
the front double, and then he sent me a front lat spread and the front relaxed, I was like, you don't even have to see your back, dude. Like this, there's no way that like anybody in that class was touching that. I mean, it was.
Yeah, but that's like the perfect combo of being full, shredded, like perfect combo
And his
of everything
shape
right there.
is like perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I thought for some reason that his quad, because he's got those freaky quads and he's got that weird lateralis that fucking bubbles out like that.
Yeah, I noticed that.
And for some reason in my head, like I had this picture of like not not that he was unsymmetrical, but they just that the quads were so big, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That they were, but like seeing that picture, it was almost like everything was fucking perfect. Like that'd be one where it's almost like from there, I'm nervous to even touch anything because I want him to go on stage looking like that right there.
Mhm.
Yeah. So
Did Johnny help you with that one?
no.
Was that from there? Did you do anything like dramatically different, or were you in your mind, were you just like, hold this?
Yeah. So it was up till that point that it was every single morning. It was like I said, I told you before at 4 a.m. I just woke up with him because that's when he trained, and I didn't want to switch his schedule. So we were trying to keep him at 203, 204 because he had to make weight. So those pictures were actually right before we even started doing anything like any type of food or anything like that. So that day, I think up to that point, he was on like 3 ounces of tilapia, 100 grams of asparagus, and I kept his water. His water at that point was like 4 liters, but he had to make weight. So I actually started to increase his water. He does really well with water, like more water. So
If that's what he looked like on no carbs,
yes.
yeah, then that's fucking
For a whole day. Now, the day prior, so he competed on Thursday, I believe. Those pictures were from Tuesday night. He weighed in, so we had all day Wednesday. You know what I mean?
Right.
But Wednesday, his carbs were averaging like 50 to 65 a meal throughout the week to keep his weight. And I think I just upped his carbs to about 80 a meal. And we just wrote that out. He was eating about 280 grams of rice with about 12 grams of fat. And I kept his protein was like, it was on the lower side. It was like 90 grams.
Did you guys do anything with water as far as cutting it or anything?
As soon as he downed,
we talked about this before. I just don't remember.
Yeah, he downed a liter. As soon as he weighed in, I told him to get fluid in because he was so parched because we went from 7 liters to 4.
He weighed in on Wednesday, right?
Yep. Yeah. And he weighed in right at like 204.5. So I told him to get a liter down. And we got that down. And then I had him doing, I think, 12 ounces between meals. So I had him eat an hour later, do 12 ounces. And then I did
all the way through until the show from there.
Yeah. We didn't cut his water ever. I stopped it.
Yeah, but only 12 ounces too. That's to me, that'd be like cutting water. Like that's low.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't like.
I mean, it goes. You know how it is, dude. It can go either way. You can fucking cut the water entirely. You know what I mean? And just give him fucking, a few ounces here and there, or
Yeah.
It's like, for some people, it's like I'm leaning on water heavily to keep a little bit more
Yeah.
fullness.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And they can
Well,
still show up.
Yeah, well,
AKA Marina.
he the thing with him was we were able to push the carbs. So I was like, let's see how the first few meals went of carbs, with the fats. And he just started filling out like perfectly. Like nothing, it couldn't have gone any better. And then like when he woke up in the morning, dude, it was just it looked ridiculous. I gave him he took a fourth of a Diazide on Wednesday night.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that motherfucker looked insane, dude.
Yeah.
In the morning was crazy.
Marina was getting 750 milliliters, I think, of water between meals. That's not exaggerated. I'm pretty sure
Yeah,
it's
it was
750 ml
750.
between meals and still showed up flat.
Yeah.
And that was, remember, the girls didn't go on until later that day, too. So we had probably like, I don't know, something like 3 or 4 liters in before she went on stage, something like that.
I woke
Probably
up.
like 3
I woke up
liters.
at like 1:13.
Yeah. All right. Who wants to go first for questions?
We kind of
Ladies
did this.
first.
Yeah, we kind of did this a few weeks back. If you had to pick one exercise for legs, what would it be? I think we all agreed on hack squat.
You didn't like my text?
Yeah, actually, that would be like
Wait, what was your text?
that would be
go read
like
it.
that would be like the real
Yeah.
number one.
I said humping from the top.
Oh, for a leg movement. I
Yes.
saw that text.
But
I don't know what the fuck it was in
You know what?
reference to.
No, come on, Steve. That's just glutes and hams.
I mean, it's still working the lower half.
Honestly, all I get from that is fucking, my shoulders run out and like I'm
True.
out. I'm gone. Done. I can't hold a plank.
Yeah, I said hack squats, probably.
Hack.
Yeah, easily hack squats. If I got a choice for 2 movements, I'd probably go leg extensions and hack squats, which I think a lot of people might be different than that, but I would definitely go leg extensions and
I
hack
would
squats
go
if I got
hip
to.
thrust and hack squat.
Yeah, it's true.
Should I do another one?
Go for it.
What do you see people doing incorrectly the most at the gym, like leg press / barbell rows?
Wait, say it again. What are people doing incorrectly at the gym?
Yeah, what do you see people doing incorrectly the most at the gym?
Fucking everything.
Yeah,
Or
Something that's been
mechanics,
really common. Yeah, something that's been really common lately is the shoulder press, where people's elbows are all the way out here. They're like right here, and they're just
Yeah.
like this little movement.
Oh, that's
I'm
the
like, bro, you're
famous
not even coming
incline.
close.
That's the incline
Yeah.
dumbbell press. I got the 125s.
Yeah, and it's just this little fucking like boom, boom, boom. Like, where are we going?
Yeah,
here, bro? Like, we're not
exactly.
even close. Or yeah, there's that. What else has been tough recently?
Everything.
Yeah. I mean, we could really go down, run the gamut here. You know what I mean? As far as like squats. Squats is another one that we always see.
Mhm.
You know,
really
like
most all compound movements.
yeah, I just did. Well, even I guess
machines.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was just
machines.
gonna
Some
say,
people
like,
fuck up the Smith.
Yeah, well, today alone, I just did. I had to send out our video on the Smith machine squat because somebody was squatting. They're every time they go up, they're throwing their neck back like this. They're only going down halfway. They're like extending through their lower back like crazy. Why do some coaches push the cycle bike for cardio over the stairs? We'll get to that in a minute. Or they're not like, they don't know how to open up their knees and they're just kind of going straight back instead of going straight down, right? On the squats. Or what was the other one that we were saying?
We said squats. I think Marina said barbell rows.
Oh, leg press.
This
I'm
one
sorry, leg
says
press
rows.
was the
They
other
actually,
one.
yeah, barbell rows.
I had a couple people check in today. One of them, their ass was coming way off the seat and their lower back was rounding around for them to be able to get the sled all the way down and to get their knees all the way down, right? So they're literally rounding the shit out of their back. The lower ass, their ass is coming off the seat entirely. And then the other one was basically just coming down a little bit below, like before parallel, like not even making it to parallel and driving back up. And it's like, dude, you got to learn how to like externally rotate those knees and come deep enough. You know what I mean? So you could screw up anything. And I think it's one of those things where it's hard to like pinpoint that one movement that's done incorrectly when it's like, mechanics in general, execution in general. You see somebody do it wrong and then you're doing it and all these people are doing it wrong. And now it just becomes the way it's done.
Exactly. Go show. Another one. Ooh, lateral raises like this.
Yeah. The lateral raises are probably one of the exercises I see most commonly done wrong.
Yeah.
Why do some coaches push the cycle bike for cardio over the stairs? I love the stairs and never ever get a good hit on the bike? Well, probably because, hit, it probably wouldn't be what you want as far as cardio is concerned in most phases, especially for a female, right? Like, I don't want high intensity cardio. You're going to end up eating away at your lower body. So especially for women, right? Like, obviously we have some classes for men, one class for men where they're covering up their legs, and maybe at that point we could run them into the ground a little bit. But at the end of the day, last thing we want to do is, during a contest prep, eat away at somebody's lower body because we're being too we're not taking recovery. Yeah, we're not taking recovery into consideration. And it's one of those things where it's like, I don't know about you, Steve, but not like I'm ever telling. There are times where I will tell somebody no stairs,
Yep.
right? But it's not as often. You know what I mean? There's also times where I will tell people use the stairs.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But it's really going to come down to, how much tissue do we have to spare there? What is the current stress level? How much are we eating at this particular time? I'll keep cardio a little bit higher and a little bit more intense, especially with women when food's a little bit higher. Right. As that food starts to come down, I might start to pull away from that cardio if and when I can. Yeah. But cardio, and I have a question on this too, but cardio is really going to be dependent. It's always the depths of your diet, the fat burners, et cetera, on what's the show that we're picking, what's the deadline to be, how much time do we have to get there, and how fucking fat are you? If I got to run you into the ground, I'll run you into the ground. Yep. But if we can spare it, we'll spare it.
Yep. I completely agree. I mean, again, I try to tell people cardio is a variable that we want to use to our advantage in all facets, right? Whether it's in the off season and we're using it for digestive health, if it's in prep and we got to, use some hit or the stairs or whatever it is, a little more intense to maybe start the metabolism moving the first, month or two. And then as, we have the metabolism moving and, food's getting lower, we now have everything moving, right? Your body's burning the weight, it's burning the fat. We can start to pull back on the stress of the cardio, potentially lower it, take some hit out, maybe move you to the treadmill, take you off the stairs so we can mitigate, inflammation and the stress and such. But I definitely think like you said, Tim, like if you got to run somebody into the ground, like you got to do what you have to do, right? Like some people just need that. Like some people need 2+ hours of cardio. It just is what it is, right? Like where some people might need that to get moving, and you might only have to do that for a few weeks, and then you're just cruising on 30 to 60 minutes or whatever it is, especially as a female I'm talking, so it just depends. But I think it should strictly be used as a tool one way or the other.
Exactly what I say.
Yeah.
Like verbatim, those are the same exact words that I use. Maria, do you have anything you want to add to that? Because I have another cardio question for prep.
No, just that I remember like a prep. I think my first prep, you specifically at the end had me doing the bike, and that's probably the first and last time I ever used the bike for cardio.
Yeah, I personally, the reason why I like the bike is because I can maintain a certain comprehension, like RPMs or something that I could use to regulate intensity level, right? Where it's like I can cut out all the resistance on the bike, but I can make you maintain 75 RPM, 85 RPM, not right. So there's a certain level of intensity that I know we're going to maintain there without a certain level of resistance. You know what I mean? That you are going to get on a Stairmaster, you are going to get on even a bike with resistance, obviously, an elliptical, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Right. Yeah. Okay. I mean, he said you had doing hit. Yeah, I've had plenty of people do hit on the stairs.
Yeah, what is it?
You had another question.
What did you say? Shit, had me doing hit. Oh, the other question is what's too much cardio during prep for a male? And you kind of alluded to it just there, Steve, right? Where it's one of those things where it's like there's no answer to that.
No.
It's literally going to come down to, again, how fat are you? Right. And how much time do we have? And what do we have to do to get you to a point where we are going to win a show? You know what I mean?
Too many variables. Like like Matt, for example, right? We put him, he was doing, I think, 30 minutes and we had 6.5 weeks to universe. It's like, all right, Matt can get shredded with just 30 minutes over 16 weeks, and we've seen that with Big Cat and Easterns, right? But when you're trying to cut down your time in half, it's time to get aggressive. And we literally put his cardio right up to 90 minutes. You know what I mean? It is what it is. Yeah, you got to do what you got to do, right? I'm like, dude, we just went from having 40 days to having 18 days. So
yeah, ramp shit up.
And he got peeled, so you just do what you got to do. I don't think there's not a one size fits all, obviously, on cardio. So.
Yes, sir. Do you have another one?
Yeah, I got a few. I guess should we wait for Tim to get back?
I think he can hear.
Oh, okay.
So maybe he'll add
Um,
after.
What are good pre-workout meals / foods?
Fast digesting. Rice, cream of rice, chicken, coconut oil. That's what I do.
Yeah. I think a fast acting carb, protein, depends if somebody's gut
Lighter.
can take whey or, obviously some can't. And I'll just do a whole food like, maybe egg whites if their stomach can tolerate it, chicken. Some people I even have beef just for the fats, depending again how lean they are and if we need to kind of slow the absorption down. Fast acting carb like cream of rice or white rice. Some people I'll do like potatoes with, if they want that,
Really?
Yeah, like some ladies really like sweet potatoes or males, right? And
Yeah.
I'll give that to them,
I know, like when
pre-workout.
I have, obviously oats are a little like higher in fiber, but if I have oats pre-workout, it sits and I'm like,
Oh yeah, yeah.
not
And
fun.
that's what I would say. Honestly, if I had to add anything to this, I would just say simply like stop overthinking pre and post
Yeah.
workout food.
Yeah.
People have made such a big deal out of pre and post workout and nutrient timing and all this shit. And the reality behind it is, look at your food over that 24-hour window as far as timing is concerned. It's going to come down to making sure that we get adequate amounts of protein spread throughout the course of the day. If you also get adequate amounts of, fat and or carbohydrate throughout the course of the day, you're always going to be fueled enough to be able to have a good session. I would say the only real consideration that I want to make with pre and post workout is how well does the food digest? Is it sitting heavy on the stomach? Then clearly we can move that somewhere else, right? Like Marita said, if oatmeal sits heavy, I'm not going to put that in a pre-workout meal, right? But at the end of the day, to me, it's not necessarily about the magic food. It's about what digests most
Yeah.
easily for you. I can actually have beef pre or post workout,
Me
have
too.
no issue with it whatsoever.
Right.
Same.
Sorry, I got a chunk ball on me right now. Okay.
A
Stop.
cute chunk ball.
You can't take the keyboard. Okay, up. Yeah. There we go. Say hi.
Who's next? I just have one
What's up,
left.
stinky girl?
Hi.
All right. So why are AIs so bad? Or why are AIs considered bad, I guess?
I think because they're overused. I mean, just like everything.
What'd you say, Marina?
But they're overused.
Yeah, they're overused. And I think that's probably like the key thing there, right? Is like we got to put in perspective, like, are AIs bad? It really depends on the environment. You know what I mean? I think what a lot of people will tell you is that AIs are going to be bad when we don't know if we need them. So, in other words, in a lot of cases, right, when you go get TRT from a clinic, right, or even when you're getting kind of, told to take, anabolic androgens from a lot of coaches, right, the immediate idea there is, hey, let's take an AI with this just so that we don't have to worry about. I usually tell people like, hey, we want to have this on hand, but we don't know if we're going to need it yet. Right. Let's see what kind of side effects happen. Or if we're going up to a certain dosage, then we want to be cautious, then it's fine. Right. Let's add it in. But the key there is estrogen in and of itself is very cardiovascularly protective. Right. Like think about like women of a specific age, right? So like before menopause, when estrogen is like the highest hormone that they have in their body percentage wise, the reality is those women never die of heart attacks. Those women never die of any type of cardiovascular event or cardio. It's not until women get to that later stage in life where that testosterone comes down, where now cardiovascular disease is the biggest risk, right? And again, the reality behind that is that cardiovascular protective estrogen being so high. Right. So estrogen in and of itself is very cardiovascularly protective. And we lower that estrogen all the way down. Obviously, we're doing damage. But like Steve also said, like lowering estrogen in and of itself is going to have direct side effects in terms of your lipid profile, insulin sensitivity goes down, right? Joint function can be compromised in that degree as well. So, or to a certain degree as well. So the bottom line there is estrogen has its benefits, and crushing any hormone is not going to be good for us. Remember, no hormone works in isolation. So no matter what hormone you're crushing, you're going to end up with some sort of side effect somewhere downstream. Anadrol time.
Super draw time.
Also
too, Tim, right? Like, so like on the forefront of kind of what you said too, like the mental state on like
That's another one. The mental state, yeah,
fucks people up, or like
100%.
because you can see it, right? When prep's going on in an individual, and AIs obviously get a little higher, more come in, right? Like just so you can get that drier look and such, like that's when this starts to like kind of go the fuck out the window. You know what I mean? And like you see it with everybody, like you can't escape that. It just is what it is.
Yep.
Because you're literally just crashing everything in your body. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So
I also think it's one of those where like people just don't realize like how, you know, how individual it is. Like some people just need such a small amount to be able to control estrogen, even at higher dosages. But it's yet we all go to the same dosage. You know what I mean? Like 0.5, you know, 3 times a week or whatever it is. And like that's just the way it's done. It's like it doesn't have to be done like that. And I actually had a client who asked this question too, who he could chime in if he wants. I don't want to necessarily, you know, but the bottom line is, you know, he was told by, I think it was the hormone clinic that he worked with. It might have been his urologist who also helps him out, but it could have been the, I think the urologist is one that gave it to him because estrogen came back high on his latest blood work. But the clinic, the hormone clinic was basically like, yeah, we don't do that anymore. Like there's a lot of research now that shows that AIs aren't good. So now we're not even going to prescribe it to you. It was the clinic, he said. So, but the bottom line is it's actually fucked up, right? Because like, for years, they're giving estrogen, they're giving AIs to people, crushing estrogen. Now all of a sudden they're like, oh, we caught up. So now you can't have any AIs, even if your estrogen's through the effing roof.
Yeah.
Like you're still not going to give you an AI. It's like, dude, go F yourself, man. No win.
Tim, what do you think about Arimidex versus Aromasin?
I like Ramos is obviously a little bit more favorable in terms of some of the outcomes there. Like it doesn't have as much of a detriment on your IGF-1 levels. At least that's what the research showed. And then, you know, a little bit less detrimental as far as the lipid profile is concerned. Right. So, you know, at the end of the day, it would seem like Aromasin is a little bit of a better option. But my argument would always be if estrogen down, regardless of the compound you're using, the side effects of low estrogen are what we've already discussed. So it's one of those things where it's like, regardless of how you go there, you're going to end up with the side effects of low estrogen. But if we could take a drug that has less side effects from the drug itself, right? Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's always going to be that much more applicable. So I personally think I also see a lot less of the issues because it's just, to me, it's a little bit more controllable, right? Like, and even there, it's like, you know, what's the common dosage there? 12.5 milligrams. And I don't know, you know, the specific mechanism of action there between, I think it's the same mechanism of action in terms of the aromatase complex. Yeah. But at the end of the day, I don't know why there seems to be a little bit of a difference there. I guess Aromasin is just less strong than Arimidex is. And Arimidex is just that suicidal inhibitor that's extremely strong. But at the end of the day, I think we see less side effects because we see less crushing of the estrogen via the Aromasin versus the Arimidex.
Yep. Marina, you have any?
Negative.
No
Oh, questions. Questions.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I have one. I think again we've gone over this, but why not? What made you want to compete?
Did we talk about this last time? I think it was me and Riley talked about this on the last podcast. What happened, Steve?
Oh, me? What? You?
So, Steve, mental health.
Yeah, mine was mental health. Yeah.
What about you, Marina? What made you want to compete?
Just wanted to take myself to an
You wanted to be
angry
a
place.
fitness influencer.
No, yeah, I just wanted to take
wanted to be a
fitness
shitfluencer.
Shitfluencer. I wanted to take fitness to the next level and see if I could do it, and I did it. So now here I am. Jesus.
To me, it was one of those things where it was like the natural evolution. Like I had already been peeled. And like, I know a lot of people say that before they compete, but like, you know, I'm talking like, you know, veins in my legs, like straight up peeled as hard as I could possibly be. And it was one of those ones where it's like, you know, are you going to compete? Are you going to compete? Are you going to compete? And it's one of those things where eventually it's like, you know what? Fuck, you know, my thing used to be that far back in the day. It's like, you know, bulk during the winter, cut during the summertime. And it was just that thing where it was like, you know, I guess a show is kind of like at the end of that cut phase where it's just kind of like, hey, let's see where it stacks up against somebody else. And then things got a lot more serious than that, obviously. But I think it was just one of those things where it was like already what you're doing in some cases. And it's kind of like just, you know, how far can we push this? You know what I mean? Make that commitment and go with it.
Yes,
Try
sir.
everything like drugs. I really, really like drugs. And that was my excuse to take them.
Somebody the other day, or it was like a week ago, they told me that they couldn't believe that like anytime I speak out and stuff, like I'm always like so against like steroid usage, and they just like I don't understand. And I'm like, because like they're so misused and misunderstood anymore. And it's just like most people don't even know why they're taking it.
Yeah.
You know, like and it's just it gives everything such a bad name and such a bad rap, and they're just so irresponsibly used and mismanaged anymore. Like, God forbid you tell a 20-year-old that they need to go to get a blood panel and they need to spend out of pocket because they don't got insurance. They're like, I can't afford that, but they'll go and they'll drop $600 for some dude making PEDs in the
Exactly.
goddamn bathtub in the
In their
fucking back of the
bathtub.
kitchen.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's just that's why I am like, when used the most responsible way, you know what I mean? Like, there's no right way, you know what I mean? But when used for that competitiveness and stuff, like, of course, I'm all for it, but you got to do shit right. I tell people, like, you can't just be reckless, like,
Yeah.
and I think my daughter has opened my eyes more to that, obviously than even I was before, but no one has ever heard me say like, yeah, like I can't wait to get back on cycle. I can't wait to blast this. Like I've never been that way, so, I don't know why. It just, because if I look back, it's always just been like, I've always was taught and mentored that you use A, B, and C for when you compete. And I've always been instilled blood work. Like Johnny was always blood work. You know what I mean? Like there was never a time where it wasn't like that. It wasn't ever you're on for years on end. It was you go on, you come off. You go on, you come off. We get blood work before you go back on. We get blood work before you prep. All that, So and I've never been taught or mentored that way to just be reckless with it. But look at the kids nowadays are legit reckless. Like there's 20-year-olds on a gram of test a week. I just can't believe it.
That's
I
insane.
know. I literally just did a consult for somebody that's 22 years old who, well, it wasn't for, I guess it was for his coach. But I did a call with both of them, and his fucking EGFR was literally 54 was what his EGFR was. And that's just that was only part of it. You know what I mean? We've also seen people, with fucking their HSCRP is actually, we had somebody where I think their HSCRP was 15. That was before he was on gear, but nonetheless, like that's like, dude, you're gonna have a heart attack. Like you're legitimately gonna have a heart attack. And if you're in your 20s and your EGFR is tank like that, like where do you think you're going? You know what I mean? Like where do you think this shit is going? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. In the ground.
Like,
that's what.
Yeah, and we've seen somebody recently too, where it's like, dude, if you're on, 200-300 milligrams of things like test, for example, right, and your estrogen is through the roof, and it's like, I think people need to comprehend that there's the genetic difference from person to person to person isn't necessarily how tight your waist is or how blocky your abs are or
it's how your body handles drugs.
Yeah, it's how your body's going to handle those drugs, and it's so dependent. It's so individual, right? That it's like you can't, just because somebody else is doing one thing, it's really popular to do it this way, doesn't mean that you can get away with that shit. You know what I mean? And that's the bottom line. You know what I mean? I don't care if you're on 300 milligrams of test. If your estrogen is 102, the reality is, dude, I got news for you. Like, you're probably not built for this. You know what I mean? Like, that's just the fucking fact of the matter. You know what I'm saying? And again, that's just one example of a million different things, but you get what I'm saying. So on that note, Steve, the question that I have for you is, what's better for overall gains, GH or trend? which is honestly, I swear to God too. Actually, I don't know if they're on or not. If they want to chime in on their question, if they're on, they can. I think they were on before.
So I mean, we're comparing
very different compounds.
You're comparing an anabolic and not anabolic. Like you're comparing, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm trying to see.
So,
still on.
And growth hormone isn't growth. You need insulin to grow. On growth.
I always say this, right? If you give me the option, you can run 500 milligrams of test. You could have 6 to 8 units of growth, and you can run insulin, say 3 times a day at between 5 and 10 units. Or you could have 500 milligrams of test.
I can blast trend
and say, Primo, I'm taking test growth hormone and insulin.
100%. I'm with you on that all day.
100%, because
All day.
one, you're going to grow more over time, and there's a lot less negative side effects.
Risks, yeah.
Yeah, a lot less risk, right? So, I said that to somebody like a month ago, and they thought I was fucking crazy. They're like, "I'm taking MPP and Anadrol." I'm like, "Yeah, okay, well, you don't even know why you're saying that."
Yeah, no shot. I mean, listen, at the end of the day, we do know that like when you're stacking androgens, there is a bit of linear growth there, right? Like
Of course.
the more androgen you take, the more muscle you're going to build.
Yep.
Unfortunately, that comes with a significant amount of side effects, like
Yep.
you just said. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, it's those side effects that are going to keep you from growing long term. You know what I mean? You can keep, adding on the drugs if you want, but at the end of the day, the side effects are going to keep getting worse. And again, you're either going to have a heart attack, a fucking blood clot, like who knows, but something's going to come of it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Whereas the GH, the SLIN, and the testosterone, like you said, not only is there going to be less side effects there, they're going to allow you to do that for potentially a longer period of time, right? But it's also one of those things that now, even if we just moderate the dosages of those and we even bring it back down to a baseline, like give me fucking, TRT and my testosterone, whatever, fucking 4 units of growth hormone and a basal analog of insulin, and I'll still have somebody growing on that, for X amount of months, and their blood work will be pristine, not even like back to base. Like I can get it perfect on that. You know what I mean? And then we're healthy enough to be able to run again versus the person that's tanking everything and now needs months and months and months, off of everything because we have to fix those kidney filtration issues or whatever it might be that's been all fucked up for so long. So it's, and realistically too, like think about what it is that they're doing. Like I'll take that combo of GH test and insulin and have better recovery, better athletic performance, right? Or I should say athletic performance, but performance in the gym, right? Better utilization of my nutrition, right? And again, I'll have all that over a longer period of time, right? Then I could do that with higher dosages of NPP, Anadrol, and higher dosages of test. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, at a certain point, if we want to grow, we're talking, these things aren't exclusive. Like you could take, in this case, Tren and GH together, right? At the end of the day, again, I think the difference when it comes to GH and Tren, though, you really already kind of illuminated this. Like they're so different. Like you really can't equate the two.
No.
But again, I think the real thing that this has to come back to is the reality that I can take GH longer, even at a higher dosage, right? That you can take Tren for with any type of safety or reassurance that you're going to, be in a position to keep healthy enough to long-term do this. 100%. So if that's the case, if I can take GH for the next 2-3 years straight, I'm going to pick the drug that I could do that with versus the drug that I can only take for, I don't know, 6, 8, 12, maybe like 14 weeks or something like that if you're lucky, before 100%. It starts to impact so many different pathways through life that like you're not sleeping, you're anxious as hell, like you can't get food in potentially, like, you smell like shit and you're fucking, got this weird fucking yellow sweat coming out of your pits all the time. Like I'd rather the GH that I could take for that long of a time because muscle takes time to grow, period.
Tim, I'm going to show you, I found the picture I wanted to show you. I had to go back. This was me when I was 18. Oh, I'll turn this. See this shit.
Yeah, but that's pretty good, dude.
Your legs.
What are you saying? Are you saying that's not good?
Your legs.
Dude, I was small as shit. Look at that.
Yeah, but that's still pretty
but that's
good
actually crazy for 18.
Yeah, look at your legs. Like that's what you get from your dad teaching you to squat like a fucking man.
Right, that was so funny. I look at that shit. I'm like, what the hell?
Your arms need a little bit of work. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Your glutes, your hamstrings, your quads, like that's a decent side leg, dude.
Yeah.
If anything, I'm pretty sure your legs shrunk in the next picture.
Well, it's weird because I was enhanced on the left and natural on the right.
Natural on the right.
I was just kidding. People are gonna think I'm serious.
Oh, okay. I'm like, wait, what?
Oh, it took me a minute because I don't know my left from my right. I thought I was like, yeah, duh, motherfucker. Look at how much bigger you fucking ate yourself. What are you talking about?
I think I was 154 on the left, and I was 224 on the right.
Yeah, so 100 pounds. No big deal.
No, it's not 100 pounds. It's like,
wow, you said you went from what you say?
154 to
220,
80 pounds. 80 pounds.
80 pounds.
So that's close, dude. Like, why are you making fun of my math?
20 pounds of muscle, bro, is a lot. But yeah, that was when I was 18. Yeah, that was.
I'm about to put on 80 pounds of muscle. Just
that was only. I think I started training in November, and that was May. Yeah, I was
good though.
I was like 114 when I started training. and I hated it. I hated every second of it.
What, training or being 114?
Everything. I hated training when my dad made me start lifting.
I'll see if I can find a picture and I'll send it to you. When I was like 18, 19 years old, I looked like a crackhead.
Yeah.
I was fucking tiny.
Trying to see.
I don't have a lot of pictures. I'm that guy where like I literally don't have any pictures of myself whatsoever beyond like 2018, 2017. Even then, I have very few.
I definitely do somewhere.
I really don't. I don't have shit. Like I didn't have a Facebook, so like I have nothing
This
like
is when
saved, you know what I mean?
this is when I was
At all.
last cycle before we got married. I was like 250. Just fucking
That was your last cycle,
You
you
look
said?
so
Yeah.
different.
2 years ago, 2.5 years ago.
Damn.
I was like
You
that was
look
the
like a
heaviest I ever
different
was. I was like
person.
250.
I think also the beard, not having a beard is throwing me off.
Yeah, chill with that. Beard's here to stay.
Let's see.
Yeah. Would you shave that for the next show?
Yeah, if I go on stage, yeah, I'll shave.
Wow,
Really? I
that's
wouldn't
crazy.
shave mine.
Yeah, but this will grow back in a month, so I'm not like.
Yeah. Yours is thicker than mine anyway, though. Yours is more like pronounced overall. You know
And
what I mean?
I wanna
Nina just
find me
trimmed
in-
this. And this
Really?
was
Yeah, see, that's what I feel like. I
And that
feel
was
like
the
I could get
last-
away with it if I just trimmed.
and that was Junior USA. That was my last show.
Yeah, that's
I
pretty. That's a
remember
gnarly look, dude.
I could barely walk. I hurt so bad, dude. I remember sitting down and just like thinking, like, I don't even know why I'm sitting down because my ass hurts. Like it just hurt
Yeah.
to sit.
Where was Junior Nats then?
What was that? South Carolina.
Hmm.
Yeah, I got all these pictures on Instagram. It's just like a scroll through, blast from the past.
Even my Instagram only goes back to like 2000.
I think this was. I think I was
like that.
I was a month out here, Tim. My dad took these.
Your arms literally tripled in size
Let me see.
from that 18-year-old.
Yeah, that's because Johnny kept screaming at me. He was like, "Stop doing barbell curls. Start doing the machines."
This is a wire. So that's why it's a gorgeous.
Do you guys have any other questions?
I do, yeah.
Back to us.
Okay, so you got to go weigh some bananas.
Back to us not to realizing we don't look like that anymore. Okay, go ahead, Tim.
What's too much cardio for prep? We already did. Oh, what's your favorite fat burner? And that was I think that was as it relates to clients, not our individual favorite fat burner, like our favorite fat burner. I think it's as it relates to like
injectable carnitine, yohimbine, and Clen.
Yeah.
So is it not ours? I like Clen.
Yeah, no, what you would use as far as clients.
I don't take any fat burners because of my anxiety. Like I don't take any stim. But clients,
I'm the opposite.
Carnitine, yohimbine, and Clen.
Yeah, I think GH gets an honorable mention there too. Like GH, I think is definitely a difference maker. You know, two IUs even like leaving that in during prep as long as I can. You know, at a fasted state prior to cardio. I think that was definitely a game changer as far as fat loss is concerned. But yeah, I think you're dead on there. I don't think really like, you know, the one thing that I made sure is that they were talking about real fat burners and not over the counter shit. Right. And I think, you know, because at the end of the day, that's one of those ones where it's like, there's nothing over the counter that's really going to be a very effective fat burner. Like I might couple that with some yohimbine and some Clen just to get a little bit more of a stimulant effect in there, like something on a very low, you know, great, like a burn away or something like that. That's like 100, 150 milligrams of caffeine, or even we have Morpho Burn by Morphogen that we'll use, which is basically all that stim free. But it's one of those ones where it's like, those are so minute and such a, like, I would, you know, a fat burner to me, and even like Clen is a perfect example. Carnitine, another a great example. You know, these things have been around for so long, and they have so much either anecdotal and or clinical human research behind them. It's almost like, why are you fucking with, you know, this thing that we're getting from Jersey Shore supplements or even Aries or whatever it might be, when it's like, you know, we have these things that have been shown over and over and over again to be very efficacious. And if you're worried about it, like start at a really low dosage. You know what I mean? Like I had people start at literally 10 mics. And I'll work them up from 10 micrograms. And there's some cases where we don't even need to go above 30, 40 micrograms. For a lot of my women, we might go all the way up to 80 micrograms, you know, but at the end of the day, that's one of those things where you really have to gauge it based on need as you continue to go. But I would say like 10 to 30 micrograms of a Clen is 10 times stronger and probably a lot more, you know, you could even argue the safety and the efficacy of the product based on the amount of time that it's been around, based on the amount of like I said, clinical data there is, and then anecdotal usage there is over decades upon decades upon decades of usage, and you're going to get 10 times more results than you would from anything else.
For sure.
I like that
So-
injectable L-carnitine. So
Yeah, well, they
I like
have
injectable.
yeah, you love the injectable L-carnitine. So do I now when we use it when we use it based on the way that you told it. But the bottom line is the other thing that I kind of like here recently is the injectable yohimbine and what is it for aminos on the pyro?
oh yeah, the pyro's good.
Injectable
But it's
yohimbi?
not clenbuterol though. It's injectable yohimbi and albuterol.
Albuterol.
My bad,
It's,
albuterol.
It's 2 milligrams, I think, right, of albuterol.
I think so. I'd have to
yohimbine.
look. But I know they used to have the injectable clenbuterol and
Yes.
yohimbine, and that shit was nuts. And the albuterol is almost like, it was too much for me. Like I had a bottle that was sitting in my cabinet for literally like 2 years because I used it once or twice and couldn't go back to it.
Yeah,
But the pyro is the albuterol in yohimbine, and that's like a perfect mix where it's still strong as hell, but it's like legitimately like doable. And obviously you're going to get more out of it when you're injecting it like that.
Somebody sent me a thing. What favorite types of people to work with? Ones that listen.
The receptible ones. Receptive.
Coach,
receptible.
coachable individuals.
Yeah. Mhm.
People that take action and just don't tell me how hard they're going to work and tell
Yes,
me that
and
they're going
just
to do
do
better.
it.
People that actually fucking do it.
Mhm.
Yep.
Is growing in prep possible? I feel like we just had
Yeah,
this
we
one.
did this one, yes.
Yes.
But I would
With
say in
drugs.
prep. Yeah. Well, that's what I was just gonna say. I would say the only caveat there is that listen, if you're gonna be a shredded natural bodybuilder, like I'm talking like showing up the stage with lines in your ass, like completely and totally conditioned, the reality is naturally there is a good chance you're gonna lose muscle tissue. And it's not gonna be a dramatic thing. It shouldn't be a dramatic thing, but the reality is if you're going to fucking take off whatever, 20, 30, 40 pounds of body fat in some cases, you're probably going to end up with a couple pounds of muscle tissue lost over that time. But again, your reward for that is being inside out fucking peel like some of these natural guys can get at the highest levels. Whereas that same level of conditioning for an enhanced bodybuilder, you shouldn't be, there's no excuse with losing muscle tissue as an enhanced bodybuilder. Like at the end of the day, that's either shitty programming. It's you not eating the food that you're supposed to be eating. It's something wrong. Right? Like you shouldn't be losing tissue in a prep if you're an enhanced bodybuilder, period. And if anything, if you have time, right, which is most people's biggest issues, they commit to a show, they have to push really hard for that show, and they dig so deep, right, that they end up fucking, in a place where they're at least flat. But if you have time to be able to refeed, take it slow enough, and really we lose 2 or 3 pounds, we refeed, lose 2 or 3 pounds, refeed, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Then you're doing it like that. There's a good chance that you show up on stage, even if you had to lose 20 pounds to get to stage, you look like you gained 10 pounds in the process because of how full you are. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you got anything else?
It's the healthiest way to cut that fat. This is a new client of mine, John. So he does jiu-jitsu. John, the way we're gonna have you, dude, you won't need to lose 10 pounds in a week. You'll be good.
Wait, what do you did you see a comment? I don't have a comment on my end.
John,
Yeah.
it's just his profile might be private, so maybe that's
Oh.
why. But
I
he's a
see
client
it.
of mine, right? He does oh, you see it? Okay.
Yeah.
So he does jiu-jitsu and he fights and such. So he brought me on board to do his nutrition so he can obviously energy wise and have better energy levels and make sure like his weight where he doesn't have to like cut, too heavily.
Yeah.
So I mean I told him like, yeah, you could definitely drop 10 pounds in a week for a fight. I mean, fighters bodybuilders do it all the time, but I told him you can make it so he doesn't have to do that. So he has more energy obviously going in. But
that's what I have a guy right now who just had a grappling tournament 2 weeks ago. Second tournament ever, took first place in both tournaments in his weight class. Yeah, it's basically all we did was pull him down to a workable weight class, and now he just maintains there. And we literally toggle back and forth based on how much, how full he is, how much energy he has. From a performance standpoint, we might pull him up a little bit during like a camp or getting ready for a fight, but we're literally within like 3-4 pounds or whatever. So all we have to do is pull him down for a few, and it's literally not even pulling him down. It's going from like 350 grams of carbs to like 250 grams of carbs, and boom, we made
that shit is so foreign to me.
That's what I did with
that's crazy.
I had 2 guys, this guy Aaron and another guy's name was Bill. Last year they both I was helping them both for about a year, and I think they did maybe 3 or 4 meets, or I don't want to say the wrong term, or fights, and I think the one guy had to make like 200 or 205 maybe, and the other guy was like 170. I kept them both within like 10 pounds. I kept them both within 10 pounds.
Can't hear him.
Oh.
Okay, never mind.
Can you hear me?
You're good. Yeah, you're good.
I kept them in both within 10 pounds, and then literally like 2 weeks out, 3 weeks out, we started just the one guy was eating like 400 or 500 carbs a day and wasn't gaining a goddamn pound. The other guy was like around 300 something, and it was just slowly chipping them away. And I had them both, I think, do like 20, 25 minutes of cardio after they were rolling, and they were fine like 2-3 days out at weight. And they said it was the most energy they had going into, their fights. So
That was Chris Guzman.
Oh yeah.
Chris Guzman,
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah.
isn't he the? That name sounds familiar.
So the last question I have is from Bernard again, who is how would you handle gym fuckery after diplomacy has failed and no assaulting people because he's a cop?
What?
So he can't assault anybody.
Just read that again.
Bernard,
Read that again for me.
Okay.
How would you handle gym fuckery after diplomacy has failed?
Is verbal abuse allowed?
Yeah, what a question.
Oh, just
I have to
verbally
imagine
verbally
verbal
assault them.
abuse is allowed.
Verbally assault.
Yeah. If you're bigger than
Not
them,
today.
just verbally assault them. Call them small. Done. I would never come back. I'd be done. I'd be out of the gym. I'd never show my face again if somebody called me small.
Oh, yo, Tim, speaking of all that, dude, I still have that voice memo saved. Bro, I
Dude,
I needed a
how'd
good.
you save it?
What do you mean? I just saved it on my phone. I pushed the thing like when you save a photo and save it.
I had no idea you could even do that.
I don't have that. What are you talking about?
I got
let me see.
verbally
no.
accosted
Okay.
by a fat chick at the gym.
Oh my god. Yo, so Tim, it's like a 6-minute voice memo, Marina, right? He's talking, good advice. He was answering my question I had, and out of nowhere, like the last minute, you just hear this woman screaming, and I'm like, oh, he must just be like in a different section of the gym, and you just hear this woman start verbally assaulting him. Yo, I had tears in my eyes laughing. I listened to it 4 times in a row, and I just skipped to the last minute before I answered him back. And then out of nowhere, you just hear Tim going off on this lady. And then the last 5 seconds of the voice memo, yeah, sorry, dude. Some lady just like tried to verbally assault me. And Tim's like, this is my fucking gym too. Like, oh my God, it was so funny. I was cracking up.
You need to send me that, Steve.
You know the LA Fitness, the where you posed in that room.
Yeah, no,
there?
I know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I went to go send him a voice note. So I went into that room, and there's just this chick, one
Oh
of
my
those chicks that's
God.
afraid to work out in the weightlifting room, and she's just doing like some dumb shit over there. And I honestly didn't mean to, like, I was just
Oh,
talking.
Yeah, you were
hilarious.
in your own world.
I'm,
Yeah.
I'm literally pacing back and forth. And
Oh,
like
dude.
she said, I don't even remember what she said at this point, but it was something like, "Are you?"
She said,
freaking
"Your voice
serious
is-
in how
yeah.
loud-"
Your voice is echoing, you piece of shit. This is not just your gym, and this is not your room. And Tim's like, I pay the same amount to come here as you, bitch. Oh, I was dying
But it was-
laughing.
But it was one of those ones
That
where
is
it's like after
annoying.
that, she followed me out. Like I triggered her in some way, shape, or form, and then she literally followed me back
Dude,
out
it
to
was
where I
so
was
funny.
training, and she just kept going and kept going, and then I might have dropped the F-bomb a couple times, not fuck either.
Might
like,
have.
I was calling.
Might have. Oh,
okay.
hey, you said
No,
more
I
than the
would-
F-bomb.
I
Oh, it was
would.
good.
And then, but they
That's
basically asked me to leave, but
So
nonetheless,
fucking
Oh
you know,
my God. You were like,
I was
why are you
done.
following me? Like this and that. She's like, get the fuck out of this room. Oh, it was so funny. It
I
was so
need
funny.
I need to hear
the-
that.
The lady at the front desk though was 100% on my side. She's like, listen, it's better now if like you guys just like cool off. I'm gonna ask her to leave. I'm gonna ask you to leave. Just
Oh my God.
But yeah, but she's like at the end of the day, there's no reason why she should be talking to you like that just because you're talking on the
Oh,
phone. Like
dude,
I
that
don't care
was-
if it's loud or not. It's a gym. It's a public
Yeah.
gym.
Yeah.
That was it.
Like,
That
put your
was
headphones on.
That was great. That was so funny.
I would love
was-
to see Tim angry like that.
Oh, it was awesome. That was by far the best voice memo I've ever received.
Yeah.
What's a typical good bikini split? There you go, Marina.
Glutes hams, delts, glutes hams, delts.
Yeah. Sounds about right.
Yeah, I have like a lot of them doing like three lower body days, right? One's more quad emphasis, then 2 like glute ham.
That's what I do.
Shoulder and arms, a little bit of back sprinkled in, and
A little bit.
call it a
That's
week.
Exactly what I got going on.
Yeah, it says literally us verbatim. I might not even put arms in there at this point. It's just
Yeah,
like
I don't have any
delts, rear delts, back.
Yeah.
And
I
then
have
like,
one
yeah,
lat
that's about it.
thing, a full day of all delts. Glutes, hams, kind of quads and glutes. I do leg extensions. That's it.
Yeah.
But it's perfect. It's a
Remember,
fun time. Everyone should do it.
Yeah, everybody's like, but I don't need to do chest. Like, no, you absolutely do
Yeah.
not
No,
need
you
to
do
do
not
chest.
need to do chest.
Yeah, but it's also one of those things where it's like, just understand, like, listen, at the end of the day, I know we all want to go in and do, whatever, chest and tries, and then chest and tries, shoulders and buys, back and, but whatever the fuck it is, it's like the typical split. But it's like, just recognize, like, dude, at the end of the day, if you need to grow, go in, train hard, and,
Yep.
and train your entire body, fine. But like, if you're training for a specific division, right, or a specific category within bodybuilding, like, play to the strengths of that class,
Yep.
play to the strengths of you as an individual to be able to bring the best, physique. Don't just like live to buy something because it's fucking what everybody else does, or because you like doing it. Like, at the end of the day, I like winning. So I'm going to give people a plan that's going to help you win. And that's that.
Yep.
I don't give a fuck if you like bench pressing.
Perfect. Perfectly said.
Next one I have was structure a leg workout for quads for a bodybuilder.
Boom. There you go. Fucking leg extensions and either a pendulum or a hack squat, and do those until you can't do them anymore, and you will fucking grow. And that's if I gave somebody just those two movements for quads, and we maximize the volume, we maximize the intensity, we just do that shit over and over and over again, you will grow your quads with just those two movements.
Yep. Yeah. I what I've been doing now, like the last I haven't switched anything up in years, honestly, but I do the adductor, I'll do lying leg curl, I'll do like 2 sets. And then I'll go into hack squat with a 2 count hold in the bottom. I'll do like two top sets of like 12 to 15. And then I'll go to the leg press. I'll do two top sets there of like 10 to 15. And then I'll either finish with like, I'll do 2-3 sets of leg extensions, and then I'll finish with like a split squat, or like sissy squats.
That sounds so fucking brutal.
It is. It sucks. It's like, but it's only like 8 sets total of actual like applied effort. But I mean, 2 working sets on the hack squat is like fucking doing 8 sets of like chest. It sucks. It's horrendous.
That's what. Again, if Bernard's on here, he'll tell you. Like, I had him in a few weeks ago from DC, and I think we got through 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sets on quads before it was like, tap out time. And it was literally just, that's where I'll start though. Usually calves, adductors, right? And for literally probably like, I don't know, a year straight until I switched up recently, and I did add in some lying leg curls or seated hamstring curls beforehand. But for a long time, it was just calves, adductors, leg extensions. In the leg extension, I do one like serious AMRAP where it's like fucking 40 reps. And like I'll peel the weight off over time, but it's legitimately like one set of straight up 40 repetitions. And like you're going until you legitimately can't go anymore. And then 2 sets on either the pendulum or the hack squat. And then from there, if I can stomach it, I'm either doing lunges or like a leg press for 3 sets, not failure sets. And then I'm calling it a day, and I'm usually spent by then. But I have switched it up, and we've done split squats together after that before, Marina, or something along those lines. Usually that last movement, I can move it around a little bit and will move it around a little bit. But again, those 2 main movements always stay the same: leg extensions and pendulum or hack squat. And then again, it's just trying to find some accompanying volume thereafter, and that's it for me. And I really think that's, again, if you want to really like structure a leg day, cool. Fucking, like you said, something to warm it up a little bit, like the adductors, which in and of themselves have a huge component to the to leg size and look that we're going for. But again, it's kind of like up front there to get things moving. Now you're going into the quad movements relatively warm, but again, leg extension, hack squat, and then leg press after that, and you're fucking good, dude. Like like that's pretty much where you need to be. If you want to throw in some lunges after that, fine. But at the end of the day, you take those things to failure, and you're going to be in a good spot over and over and over again.
Yep.
The amount of Barbies that are on the living room floor right now is intense.
Tim, you got any more?
Nope, I'm fresh out.
I'm done.
Let's see. Can you break down a typical pre-contest bodybuilding cycle with example doses? Oh gosh.
You want to start on that one?
Yeah, why not? So I'm just gonna start with test base. Esther, I really is just gonna depend on the person. I always like say like if we figure it out in the off season, right? Like some people don't react well to sauce, some react great, right? Like I don't want to switch it up, right? We might switch to prop like 4 to 8 weeks out, depending like how much water an individual's retaining. So we have the test base, 16 to 20 weeks out. I like to go with Primo to start. If somebody can't afford that, I'd probably tell them to get like a master on E. Primo, I typically like to have somebody do it every day, usually around like 50 to 75 if they can afford to do so. If they can, and they have to do master on E, do like 100 to 150 like every other day type thing. Do the same dose every day if you want to. Some people just are like, I'm not pinning every day. You know what I mean? It's like, all right, well, I'm just gonna lay it out. If you don't, here's the option every day, here's the option, EOD if you want to do that. So then typically we start with something like a lower dose on Aromacin, maybe a little bit of Novaldex around 16 weeks out. Start to control the estrogen a bit. And then 8 weeks out, typically we throw like the master on propin. Some people maybe Winnie. Sometimes I like to wait a little bit because it's an oral, maybe like 4 to 6 weeks out. On that might start with like 25 to 50. Some people will bump up to like 100. Again, I think it depends too on the dose of what's the goal at hand, like you said earlier in the live, Tim, right? Like if we're going for a local show, you should definitely be able to, if this is for you, you should be able to win taking 50 milligrams, right? Like let's use the max dosages or push it to a little more aggressively when we need to, right? Maybe like a national show or something, but typically like 25 to 50 of that. Master on Pro might be like start out like 75 to 100 every other day. And then you get like trend in the mix around like 6 to 8 weeks out too, maybe like 25 to 50 every other day. Typically, I don't even ever like to take that over 300 a week. Just most people just can't handle it. And then around like 2 to 4 weeks out, you look at like things like going to everyday injections to keep things more stable, like the Masteron and the Trend. Sometimes between like 20 to 30, maybe 40 a day max on the Trend. Again, like around that 300 spot a week, milligram wise. And then Masteron, I typically will go like 50 to 75 a day, just because again, we're getting the AI effect from it. And then the actual AIs we might have like where Novaldex and Aromacin come in at like 25 Aromacin every other day, or like a 20 Novaldex starting every day around like 4 weeks out to really start to dry out and kill off the estrogen. Halo testing sometimes 2 weeks out, right? Like 20 to 30 milligrams a day. Proviron, maybe around like 6 to 8 weeks out. Like 50 to 100 a day. Sometimes I'll put that up to like 150 to 200 at a week out too. Like I did that with Matt, and it worked so well.
Yeah, I like the Proviron a lot.
And then growth
What's
hormone.
Proviron?
The DHT derivative.
Yeah, DHT.
Nice.
Did I miss anything? Cleanse.
No.
Cleanse in there.
Yeah, Clean's definitely going to be in there for me
T3,
for sure.
T4.
Yeah. I would just say honestly, for me, I might just go like, right out of the gate, honestly, depends on the person. It's either going to be same thing that it always fucking is, test an MPP or test and Masteron. And again, if we can get Primo, great, but I'd say 90% of the time for me, it's usually going to be Masteron just because of the source. And then, so, and I'm usually going to run that at relatively like conservative dosages out of the gate. Because for me, it's like, I don't think we need a lot of drugs to be able to promote that initial fat loss. You know what I mean? And like at the end of the day, I know everybody wants it. Everybody wants to look good immediately, but we all know we're going to have those first few weeks of prep, we're going to look like shit. But when I say those first few weeks, maybe like the first 50% of your diet until you really start to get peeled. Yep. Yeah. And then from there, so for me, it's like, if I have somebody dieting for 20 weeks, let's say those first 10 weeks, it might be something simple where it's like, and again, how much tissue does the person have? Maybe it's 500 milligrams of test, 300 milligrams of NPP, or 500 milligrams of test and 400 milligrams of masteron enanthate. And then once we get to like that 10-week out mark, now we can start to ramp things up a little bit, because I do think androgens have an impact on fat loss once you get to those deeper depths, right? And we need to make sure that we're going to, all lengths to get those really like, crispy details that we're looking for. So at that point, that's maybe where we'll jack things up a little bit. And for somebody that's more seasoned, maybe even taking the masteron all the way up to like between 800 and a gram of masteron alone. Testosterone, again, depending on how much tissue somebody has, 500 milligrams to even upward to 750, depending on, again, what their experience level is. And then from there, running that into, I try to wait for most people with the tren and or orals until we're really, really close, because those I'm really just looking to augment the way that we look, right? At that point, it's a nice physical boost too, as far as performance is concerned, because at that point, if your performance isn't dropping, at least to some extent, you're probably not fucking peeled yet.
No.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So, but you might be slacking a little bit in the gym. So having a little bit of tren in there, having a little bit of an oral in there is probably going to pick you up. But I'll probably start with the tren, right? And hopefully we can start at a low enough dosage to where we can miss a lot of those side effects right away. And then as we even get closer to the show, so it might be like 2 to 3 weeks out, that's when I'll start adding in an oral. And then the oral is going to be based on how does somebody look. It might be Winstrol, but it might also be something to fill somebody out. Like we talked about Superdraw plenty of times. I might have somebody get one or both. And then maybe at first it's Winstrol, but then maybe as we get closer to the show, we'll drop the Winnie, add in the Superdraw, like literally 7 days out, just to be able to drive that specific look that we're going for, right? And then the day of the show is where I might get a little crazy with shit, where it's like, hey, we're going to do fucking 100 milligrams of Winnie today, or even 150 milligrams of Winnie today, really trying to drive, again, that specific look on stage. Right. So it's one of those things where, again, that last few weeks, there might be a little bit more manipulation, but leading up to that point to where we're like, again, if I start seeing somebody's performance slip in the gym, then maybe we'll increase androgens during the course of the time. But I don't think at the front of our prep, like I have a guy right now that's about to start prep and he'll be on nothing for the first, because we really need to clean him out based on a long off season. So he's in his primer phase, post primer phase. We'll go into prep and he'll still be just on, what is his kind of like base level exposure, which is just, whatever, 100 milligrams of Primo, 200 milligrams of test, and we'll ride that 300 milligrams for the first however many weeks of prep. And then maybe like 12 weeks out, we'll start to really ramp up those. And then, like I said, double down on the compounds as we get to that maybe like 6 week out mark. But again, all that gets thrown to question if we're X amount of weeks out, I have to dig somebody down because the rate of loss isn't where it's supposed to be. Then maybe I might counter some of that, how far I have to dig somebody's calories down, or how far I have to put up cardio with additional androgens to keep athletic performance high. So contest prep cycle to me is one of those ones where it's like, sometimes I think people are overdoing it, right? Not that I think anything you said was overdoing, but I think sometimes people overdo it where it's like, they're on 3 grams worth of shit. And it's like, to me, dude, I want that during the off season where we're actually capable of growing. Whereas during contest prep, to me, it's about, hey, we want to maintain all the tissue. And so we want to look at performance. Yeah. And then again, it's about fat loss. It's about a look. You know what I mean? I'm going for a very specific look during contest prep, and I'm going to use drugs based on driving that look. Rather than, again, in off season, I'm using drugs to drive growth, right? A little bit of a different concept there.
Yep. Cool. All right, sweet. That's all I had.
Wow, we got done early today. And where the fuck is everybody? How come there's nobody on? We got 11.
Because we don't have Matt
watching.
on here too.
Oh, so you think Matt is the fucking showstopper, huh? Matt's the fucking guy.
Well, it's a whole nother person. With more followers. So
yeah, that's why we double our output, because fucking Matt's here. Matt, you son of a bitch.
Our clients let us down. Everyone's 0 carbs.
Tim, yeah, right? Did you see what
meals.
EJ
Marina
said?
Gets no high day this week. No, what did he say?
He said, Tim, you're doing a great job with Marina. Her back and legs look great. Yeah, well, she's been putting in the work. And I was like,
oh, wait, he said that on the live here?
Yeah, scroll.
Oh, I honestly, I got nothing. Mine's not working. My comments not working.
But EJ, you get 0 carbs too, buddy.
Why? He had compliments. EJ gets all the carbs.
He gets 50.
EJ, you get 5 guys, baby.
50 pre-workout.
50 pre-workout.
All
right.
Will, you get no food. Actually, Will was just bitching about how much I had him eating. So I just reduced his food, and he sent me a text and was like, thank God, less food.
That's funny. Should
Riley's at that point now too. We're cutting back his food.
Dude,
He
eating
hasn't.
sucks. It's just fucking horrible, man. Like,
Well,
I love
especially
eating.
for him. Remember, he's like, you look at his pictures right now, and he's still like relatively lean, and he's been in off season for 2 years, dude. Where it's just been food after food after food, and I bust his balls all the time
bison and
because
olive oil and bison.
yeah, but I bust his balls all the time because he's the type where it's like, dude, you better be hitting your plan. He's like, I'm still hungry. I'm like, you're not fucking following your plan. And he's like, no, I swear to God, I'm following my plan. And now I really have him to the point where, because he's not working a full-time job, that made it really difficult for him. Right now, he's at home coaching full-time. So it's one of those things where like now he's actually like, he started fucking grew out of nowhere, right? Like just fucking gained 15 pounds out of nowhere. And I'm like, dude, fucker, like, what the fuck is going on here, bro? Like, you actually following your fucking diet for the first time ever? And he's like, yeah, I'm really like, I'm nailing it. Like, I'm getting everything in, growing like a weed. And then literally within like 4 weeks, acid reflux, like, oh, I can't eat all my food. I'm like, see, this is how I know you're fucking following your plan.
Yeah.
Because you don't, but he's still fucking shredded though.
Yeah.
At fucking 2 years during an off season, all the fucking food he's been eating. So I just cut 2 Pop-Tarts out of his diet though.
oh, God forbid.
Wah, wah.
Yeah, well, he still got 2 post-workout. He was eating 4 Pop-Tarts
Jeez,
post-workout.
oh my God.
Dude, I got to get the food in there somehow.
Yeah.
Like, that's after you got fucking, when you have 5 meals of fucking 400 grams of rice, 2 rice
Fuck
cakes,
that.
fucking honey. Like,
I'm
he's
so
gotta
glad
eat,
I've
dude.
never needed that much food to grow. Fuck that.
Yeah.
Never,
Like,
man.
And that's, dude, his meal one is 350 grams of powder from Serious Mass, right? I think it's like 20 grams of olive oil, 2 whole eggs. I don't know what the fuck else I got in there, like peanut butter, like the whole 9. Like, Austin, I was talking to Austin about him and trying to like get some ideas for growth. He was literally like, dude, shot glass method. And I'm like, what the fuck's the shot glass method? He's like, don't even tell him like how much, like just fill up the shot glass with olive oil and take it back with meals, an entire shot glass of olive oil with meals.
That's disgusting.
Like, so he's
Shot
like,
glass
dude,
method.
there's some people that just need the fucking calories and you got to get it in any way you can and like stop worrying about carbs, fats, all this different shit. Like at that point, he's eating so many calories and he's eating so much food. You're not going to like underdo one of them. Like just
This actually
feed him until he can't fucking feed him anymore.
That reminds me, sorry, I'm cutting you off. That reminds me, growing up, whenever we had a stomach ache, my nanny would give me olive oil in like a spoon and tell me that it was like gonna help my tummy because it coats the tummy. And I would, take a teaspoon of just olive oil and be like, I feel so much better. Like, that's disgusting. Nauseating.
That sounds disgusting. Yeah, my last meal is pretty heavy too. I actually hate it because Johnny's got me eating a good amount again. I just don't 2 Dana Light Fit yogurts, a scoop of isolate, 6 whole eggs.
Okay.
And
Fair enough.
and potatoes. So I just went to
I look for that would be my favorite meal right there.
I went to Sam's Club and I got the tater tot frozen potatoes. And he's got me doing like 140 grams of them, and it's like 80 some carbs. So it's that, the 6 whole eggs, and I just fucking pour Frank's Red Hot in the sugar-free ketchup on top, dude. And I'm just sitting there at like 9:30 at night, and then I'm like,
probably
you don't like
delicious.
the eggs and hash browns?
no, I like it, but not after I'm just got done fucking eating 190 grams of nasty ass beef and 260 grams of rice. And
Dude, your diet sounds great.
That sounds delicious to me.
Like beef, rice, then you get all whole eggs and potatoes. Like that would be my fucking those 2 meals right there. I could eat those 2 meals over and over and over again with no problem.
How do you like
Eggs are
beef?
fucking good.
I
Beef
fucking
is
love
so
it.
good.
I would legitimately eat beef with every meal with no issues whatsoever. I digest it well.
Ugh.
It fucking tastes amazing. I could eat beef over and over, and it doesn't matter either. You want to give me 80% lean? I'll take it all day. 93% lean? Thank you. Please, can I have some more? Fucking 95% lean? It's dry, but I want that over chicken any day of the week.
I'm eating Lucky
I have
Charms.
98.
Nice.
Lucky Charms and pineapples.
Oh, fire.
I love how people always hate on cereal in the diet, and it's like,
so good.
dude, clearly you've never had to eat a lot of food because it's the cereal that just makes it like you said, give him that one meal that's just actually easy to digest and get all that food in is like a fucking game changer. Like I need just one meal, at least one meal that's like easy to clear the system, doesn't feel like it's sitting on my stomach the entire time. I need that.
My first meal is big too, though, dude. Except I am hungry in the morning, so he's got I do just 20 minutes of cardio right now, just because I'm trying to push again and actually not be small anymore. So, it's 120 grams of cream of rice, 190 grams of strawberries, 150 grams of blueberries, 25 grams of isolate, 4 whole eggs,
That sounds
200
delicious.
185 grams of egg whites.
That's
There's so
You
much.
got you got to make
and
you
then
gotta
potatoes and potatoes.
delicious.
you got to make the cream of rice like before you do your cardio in the morning. Put it in the fridge,
I put mine in the freezer.
bro. 2 hours later, it's like eating a small cake. It's fucking delicious.
I'll do that tomorrow morning and I'll send you a picture.
And get real cream of rice though, not that orange box shit from the grocery store.
No,
with
bro,
something-
what are you talking about? What real cream of rice?
Rice and grinds.
Rice and
Oh,
grinds.
you guys are just.
How are you flavoring your cream of rice?
It's probably nothing.
I put my
Salt.
fruit in there, fruit, my cinnamon, and my whey.
It's
That-
no fucking
adds on
wonder you eat it,
flavor.
dude. Yeah.
Bro, I'm a bodybuilder. I don't give a fuck. I just want to eat the
Yeah,
damn
but make
food.
it taste
You
good.
say that, but yeah, you're bitching about your food.
Yeah,
But I
make it
still
taste
do. I
good.
still eat it. I've been doing it for so long. I just eat the food. Wait a minute.
You can.
Wait
You
a
don't
second.
have to make it that bad for yourself.
Wait a minute. Hold
Yeah.
on, real quick. Boss,
Cream,
time out.
dude, cream of rice. I literally
Time out.
eat cream of rice. I'll eat. Last night I put together my bowl of cream of rice, which is only 90 grams for my last meal, right? 90 grams of cream of rice, 100 grams of raspberry, 10 grams of dark chocolate, and I'm literally putting
Dark
90 grams of
chocolate.
cream
What
of
are you,
rice.
a woman?
85%
Dark chocolate
dark
is so
chocolate.
good.
And it's great for you. Literally one of the
Yeah,
best
it's
fat sources you
disgusting.
can have.
Milk chocolate.
Oh, you're out of your fucking mind. No, fuck that. Even if I'm doing it for fun, I want dark chocolate over milk chocolate.
Oh.
But anyway, bottom line is I'm putting that 90 grams of cream of rice in my bowl, and all I can think about is like, 100 grams won't hurt. 115 won't kill me. Like,
Wait,
yeah, I want more.
Wait. Oh. So let me ask you this, right? So I get this flavored cream of rice, this fancy, rich stuff. And then I put blueberries, strawberries, and chocolate peanut butter whey in there. I'm not going to taste the cream of rice anyway.
You get the chocolate cream of rice, man, and
Yeah,
it
just-
mixed perfectly.
It's
But
gonna
I
be
also,
like a
I would just
cake.
drink the whey.
Come here,
If it were
Bubba.
me, I would just drink the whey.
Yeah, I don't like putting whey in my cream of rice or my oats. I wish I had a baby too. Come on.
Watch yourself. We're good on that, all right? Look at that little belly she's got. I want to play with that little belly too. All right, that was the dad in me coming out. Real
Yeah.
hard.
I love it. I love it. All right.
All right.
All right.
Any last words before we get off of here and stop annoying people?
Yeah, I'm gonna go eat some bison, white rice, and zucchini, and love
I'm
every
gonna
second
eat
of it.
rice and steak and peppers.
And I'm going to go snort cream of rice.
Yeah, now we're talking. Now you're a bodybuilder, baby.
All righty. Goodbye, everyone. Thank you for
See you
watching,
guys.
and we'll catch you next week.